Hey everyone, Alex here with UTRGV Outdoor Adventures. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build an A-frame tarp shelter using minimal materials. All you would need to set up this shelter is a tarp, paracord, and a couple of sticks or tent stakes. The knots I am going to use are the bowline, trucker's hitch, and the taut line hitch. If you're unfamiliar with these knots, you can learn how to tie them by checking out our shelter building knot video on our YouTube channel. The first thing you will do is establish your ridgeline. This provides the main framework for your shelter. To secure the ridgeline to your first anchor, use a bowline. I use a quick release method with a stick here, but you can also tie the bowline directly to the anchor. Next, use a trucker's hitch to secure your rope to your second anchor point. The trucker's hitch is a preferable method to other tension knots as it creates a 3-to-1 system. This allows you to create significantly more tension without as much effort, and it still releases easily once you are ready to tear down your shelter. If the rope you're using isn't quite long enough for the trucker's hitch, or you just need a fast, temporary shelter, a taut line hitch will work here too. How high you tie your ridgeline will depend on factors like how large your tarp is, how tall you are, what you are able to anchor to, and how much airflow you want through the shelter. If you want to limit airflow through your shelter, you will want to have your ridgeline lower and stake the tarp directly to the ground. If you want to have more airflow through the shelter, which is more common here in southern Texas, raise your ridgeline and attach guy lines to the tarp. I tied it even a little higher here than I normally would to be able to more clearly demonstrate adjusting the guy lines when securing them to your stakes. Once you have the trucker's hitch tied, make sure to secure your excess rope. You won't always have as much excess as I do here, but if there is enough to reach the ground, it can become a tripping hazard. It is always easier to deal with having too much rope than struggling when you don't have quite enough. Once you have the desired height established for your ridgeline, you are ready for the tarp. We will keep it simple here and just drape the tarp over the line. Draping the tarp over the ridgeline will work fine for a basic shelter in most situations, but it does have the potential to slip inwards, especially in high winds or if it is not staked down properly. There are multiple ways to prevent the tarp from slipping and to keep it extra taut, such as making prusik loops to attach the tarp to the line, or passing a bight of the ridgeline through the grommet of the tarp and securing it with a stake just like the releasable bowline anchor. You can also pass the rope through the grommets and tie a knot on the inside of the tarp before establishing your ridgeline. Those methods use a little bit more rope, a little bit more advanced, and we may cover them in a future video, but as I said, in this video we are going to use minimal materials while still constructing a solid shelter. If you need guy lines, use a bowline to attach the rope to the tarp and a taut line hitch on the side with the stakes. When using the guy lines, rather than staking the tarp directly to the ground, make sure to stake them out at about a 45-degree angle in relation to the ridgeline and angle the bottom of the stake towards the shelter as you push it to the ground, as you can see I did here. You want to simulate tension on each stake as you put them in, but do not pull them 100% tight until you have them all placed. Be careful not to pull the tarp off center as you place each stake. Once you have all the stakes secured, go around and adjust the tension on each corner as needed. As I finish staking and adjusting the guy lines, let's go over the pros and cons of this tarp shelter. The pros of the A-frame shelter are that it is quick to set up, the angle provides good runoff for precipitation, and it can be adjusted to have significant airflow or good wind protection depending on your circumstances. The biggest con of this shelter though is that setup does not include a floor, but you can easily lay down a ground cloth or another tarp if you want to keep you and your gear off the ground. If you do use a ground cloth, however, make sure that the edges are completely underneath the shelter or they may collect water and get you wet. Once all your guy lines are pulled tight, your shelter is good to go for an enjoyable night in the outdoors. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more outdoor content. Thanks for watching.